Giannis got a $238 million.
That's it?
Supermax.
Is that it?
Is that it?
Jeez.
Not enough?
I mean, he's everything to that franchise. He's two-time MVP, Defensive Player of the Year. Like, he's a beast. He's just that close to getting over that hump, and he needs to get over that hump for perception. But in reality, that dude's a monster, man. And he's just coming up short in the biggest moment, the biggest games.
Right. No rings.
Shouldn't slight him. No ring. Oh, yeah.
No rings.
You want to go through the list of no rings, but still amazing? Yeah.
Lots of people, but usually they're not MVPs.
Yeah, well, Charles Barkley, we could talk about. I mean,
he's been an MVP?
I think so. I think Barkley won MVP. Hit the Google, you know me.
I'm going to Google it.
But it's crazy. Like, what people have to understand, there's a huge difference between performance and outcome. And like as much
he was a 93 MVP.
Bam, knew it.
There we go.
Performance and outcome is what we're really trying to distill out of this. And you want to always dictate the outcome, but the only way you can do it is through your performance.
Mm-hmm.
How could you get more out of him? All right, hit more threes, get more post-up moves in the playoffs, or just have more of a go-to game in the playoffs. And we're talking about this much in terms of incremental growth. But his performance is top level. His outcome is something to sneeze at right now.
Well, the big question is, why does he get MVP 2 years in a row and LeBron does not?
Oh, we know what that is.
What is it?
Voter fatigue. It's a lot of reasons. Voter fatigue. Voter fatigue. Like, yeah, that's a real thing. Like you have voter fatigue when you're in your car, you listen to your song, come on a couple times, and after that, you're going to choose something else. You just voted your favorite song of the moment off because you need something new. You need something fresh. Like, I love tacos. Not 7 days in a week. not every day.
Okay.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, I think people look at LeBron as their favorite food, and then they be like, all right, what else am I eat? And that's where they look at other cats.
Well, John Salley spoke about this with me recently as well. He had a very interesting perspective on it. He said that the reason why LeBron has not been getting the MVP and Giannis has is because the NBA is looking at Giannis as the future. LeBron has done his thing and has performed and has put the league onto the next level, but they're still looking at him as the past. Now they're looking at Giannis as the future of the league.
To the NBA, Giannis is more important than LeBron because they feel they have already surfed this wave. But LeBron investing into himself is important. And that's when he got up there and said, I want my damn respect. He's right. He deserved. I thought the MVP of the league should be at the end. It shouldn't happen during the finals. Every award should happen at the end. But because LeBron is so direct and so knowing how to answer and so not feeling certain other people, and Giannis just sits around and just happy to be there and just, this is a blessing. And for the NBA, it's important to have him as the next face. As an international face.
And that's why they're giving him the MVP.
Sally's my dog. I think that's too simple. I think that's, as we say, that's lazy to just say that because it's not that simple. LeBron was second in MVP, but why he didn't win it, in part because LeBron jogs a little during the regular season on purpose because he's 37, right? So he's like, yo, to finish this race, I got to pick my spots. He start pacing himself in terms of speed on the court. I remember seeing some stats on him 3 years ago in the playoffs. LeBron was out there coasting because he saves himself during the game, and then he also saves himself during the regular season for playoff success. Every time LeBron's in the finals, he leads in every statistical category for both teams, basically. You know why? Because he knows how to pace himself. So you can't have it all. You can't pace yourself when Giannis is young enough to go to full tilt regular season, all 82, whatever it may be. And then he gets that award. But LeBron's like, I got my eyes on a different prize, a bigger prize. He gets that award.
Okay.
But to sum it up, they trying to move on. They're not necessarily trying to move on because Giannis, in the bubble, all his games were at 8 in the morning. They weren't trying to give him primetime games because they're not really trying to give him the baton. Tell Sally I said that.
Okay. And I'm just going to end off with our basketball section with this question. I just interviewed Muggsy Bogues.
My dog.
who
Respect.
is the shortest player to ever play in the NBA. 5'3". He played for 14 seasons.
He really is 5'3".
5'3" with a 44-inch vert.
That's getting it.
He actually blocked Patrick Ewing at one point. What was it like for you to block Patrick Ewing?
Well, I mean, it was just another, it was a reactive moment, instinctive. We was playing against him, and he faded away and tried to shoot over one of my teammates, and I happened to be right there, and I caught him. And then when I did it, I let him know it was going to be on my highlight film too. So we got a big kick out of that. That's just part of the game, man. Folks like, well, he's 7 feet tall, and you 5. But I had a 44-inch vertical. I could get up the floor a little bit, but at the same time, he leaning back a little bit, and I had to jump. So I ain't had to use all my 44-inch to get that one. Just probably about 32 of it.
That's crazy.
Now, this was a while ago. This was the 80s and the 90s.
Okay.
Right? Do you think with the modern NBA, where everyone is significantly taller than they were back then,
All right.
that there will ever be a 5'3" professional basketball player ever again?
I mean, part of me already said, never say never. And I was like, shut up, corny. 5'3" has different options. I always had this like little height experiment I used to run like in junior high to high school. So I guess I'm gonna answer it in terms of my experience and my story. If you were trending like prototype pro athlete, you stuck to sports. And most of us didn't make it, but we stuck to it. If you realize that I'm not necessarily built for that sport, or I'm not built internally for that sport, start looking at the arts, entertainment, music,
Business.
comedy, business, right?
Yeah.
So I think right now, because there are Vlad TVs and the internet, and there's so many ways to be creative and get a tremendous lifestyle out of your creativity, a 5'3" person would just do the risk reward. Like, the chances of them getting drafted are so slim, because if you're this good at 5'3" and somebody's right here that good at 6'3", we take a 6'3". So they're running the calculation like, let me go and veer. So back in those days, I don't know what Muggsy was going through, what his rearing was, what his situation was, but he fought through that wall. He cracked through that wall.
He grew up in the projects of Baltimore. He was shot when he was 5 years old. Dad went to prison.
Now you're talking.
Eventually died of drugs, of I believe a drug overdose, raised by a single mom. But ended up in high school for what people consider as the greatest high school basketball team of all time. The last 2 seasons, they did not lose one game.
Okay.
60-0.
Get some.
He was a first-round draft pick in the NBA.
And 5'3".
12th pick overall.
Yeah.
At 5'3".
Yeah.
I mean, before him, Spud Webb was doing his thing.
Yeah.
But he's 5'7".
5'7", right?
Yeah.
You're right.
This is 5'3".
Yeah, as much as he deserves all the props, and then that mental makeup and going through that, nobody gonna tell you no. Like, you've been through hell. That's the beauty of like going through any adversity, is if you survive it, mentally, you start to say, I got an engine that you can't shut down. That said, another 5'3" guy with a similar skill set, with a similar game, with a similar projection of being good or great, he ain't trying to run through all that, because he's walking around campus with the trees that are now, high school is now, if you're good, you're recruited. Let's stop lying. I got recruited in high school, and this is in the 80s. Now, if you play basketball and you go to these high schools, try and walk on a high school. Try to move to a city. Like, hey, I'm going to the public school down the street, and I'm going to try out. They got that thing slotted 1 through 12 already.
Yeah,
so
well,
and ain't gonna do it.
And on top of that, even though back then, because remember, he was on the same team as Manute Bol. So you have a 7'7". You ever see that picture of the two of them together?
I haven't. That's insane.
I can't. Hold on.
That's insane. Dang. Man, he's 5'3", but he's not slight. Like,
no, he's built.
Real muscles there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, look at that. Dang. That's like 2 buildings, like one under construction and one is fully a skyscraper. Crazy.
There's a 2.5 foot difference between these two.
Unreal. Yeah, I would love to see it, but man, cats run real calculations on their life and their projections. Cats ain't running that one anymore. That's dead.
Right. And unlike that era, we talked about this, the recruitment in professional sports is so international now that if you're in some small village in Bolivia and you're 7 feet tall,
oh, we come.
They'll find you.
Yep.
Someone will get word of you, and they'll fly out to Bolivia, and they'll fly you out and try you out.
Yeah, and more importantly, I mean, Air Force One will land there, be like, "Yo, I heard you got a 7-footer in the village. Where are you at?"
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. Here's some relief aid. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
they know that too. Like before, it was a one directional push. It was like, we're looking for them. Where are they? Now they're raising their hands. Like the village is raising their hand. The people everywhere. It's a global sport, especially the NBA. So yeah, good luck, man.